We just got our first look at the Browns 2025 OTAs, which started earlier this week, and with that, we also got a look at the Browns quarterback competition as well, including rookie quarterback Sheduer Sanders, who looked pretty good within a small sample size. It's a four-way quarterback competition between Kenny Pickett, who the team traded for earlier this offseason, veteran quarterback Joe Flacco, who the team signed in free agency, rookie quarterback Dillon Gabriel, who they drafted in the 3rd round, and of course, Sheduer Sanders, who they took in the 5th round, who everyone is going to have their eyes on throughout the entire offseason, and really throughout the whole season, as Sheduer Sanders is a high-profile name. And we're going to be breaking down how Sheduer Sanders looked at this first OTA showcasing to the Browns media, and how he is transitioning into the NFL. My name's Cash, and before I continue, I'd appreciate it if you would take 5 seconds to subscribe to stay up to date with all NFL content we'll be posting here daily. We just hit 10K. I appreciate you all for your support. Now let's hit our new goal this year of 15K. And let's dive into what's going on with Sheduer Sanders. As we all know, everybody wants to know how Sheduer Sanders is transitioning into the NFL from college football. Sheduer Sanders was really the story and the headline of the NFL draft, as he surprisingly fell to the 5th round of the NFL draft after finally being taken by the Browns. Many thought he would have been a 1st-round pick. Many thought he would have been taken in the 2nd or 3rd round, but he fell all the way to the 5th round of the NFL draft, which is one of the biggest surprises of the event. A few weeks ago was rookie minicamp for the Browns, and Sheduer Sanders looked pretty good and performed pretty well alongside his fellow rookie quarterback Dillon Gabriel. And both of these guys weren't throwing to like starting NFL guys or NFL receivers. They were throwing to tryout players, camp invites, undrafted guys, while at the same time also going up against undrafted guys, tryout players, camp invites. And during rookie minicamp, Dillon Gabriel, the 3rd round pick for the Cleveland Browns, was getting first team reps, meaning that he was the starter for those drills and those reps, while Sheduer Sanders was the secondary quarterback. And just like at rookie minicamp, this was also very similar to the case at OTAs for the Cleveland Browns. At OTAs, Sheduer Sanders was the 4th quarterback in the pecking order in the quarterback competition and within the rotation. It was reported multiple times by people covering the Browns and people who were at the practices. The opening pecking order at quarterback for the Browns was Kenny Pickett was the 1st quarterback, which is a little surprising. I would have thought Joe Flacco. Dillon Gabriel with the 2nd team reps, which is super surprising. I would have thought they would have wanted the 2 veteran quarterbacks, 1 and 2, and the 2 rookies, 3 and 4. Joe Flacco was 3rd, and then Sheduer Sanders was 4th. I don't know if this is a case where they wanted to go veteran, rookie, but Joe Flacco being 3rd, surprising. I would have thought he was 1st, Kenny Pickett 2nd, Gabriel 3rd, and Sheduer Sanders 4th, but that really isn't the case. But just like rookie minicamp, Sheduer Sanders is last in the pecking order, at least in this first showcasing at OTAs. Now, Sheduer Sanders being last in the pecking order isn't surprising, but what is surprising to me is that Dillon Gabriel was 2nd while Sheduer Sanders is 4th. I would have thought they wanted to have like the 2 veterans together, like I said earlier, and the 2 rookies together, and then they'll rotate day by day or week by week, whatever it may be. That was the real surprising thing, but it may not even be a big deal because head coach Kevin Sfansky said that the quarterbacks are going to be rotating and getting reps throughout the offseason. Kevin Sfansky, when he was asked about the quarterback order, he said, "We're mixing it up every single day, which is why I tell you not to read too much into it. Just trying to get these guys exposure to different things." And that's not a bad idea. Just get these quarterbacks accumulated and chemistry with some of the non-experienced wide receivers, maybe just getting connections with the guys who are backups. And then he also mentioned not leaning into or worried about the order at this point. I'm sure it's going to change with the offseason. Maybe 2 weeks from now, Sheduer Sanders will be 3rd, Dillon Gabriel will be 4th or something like that. This is just the first week of OTAs, and this is probably just, they're trying to make Sheduer Sanders earn his way up on the roster spot as opposed to just giving it to him. With Sheduer Sanders being 4th, there wasn't a whole lot of opportunity for him to get a whole lot of reps as the quarterback at OTAs. But the talent and arm strength was definitely there, according to Zach Jackson, who covers the Browns for The Athletic. One of the first things he said when the practice was over was that there was a small number of memorable throws, good or bad, and that he's interested to see the quarterbacks in 2 weeks at rookie minicamp once everyone is more familiar with the playbook, the players, and everything like that, and probably just the situation in terms of rotating. But he said right now there aren't many reps for Sheduer Sanders, who's 4th in line, but clearly has arm talent and touch, so not a whole lot of opportunity for him. But when he does get the opportunity, he does showcase what he can do, and maybe he'll get more opportunity and more reps down the line. We got some footage of Sheduer Sanders throwing some pretty decent passes at OTAs today on Wednesday. Let's kind of go through them and see how he looked. This is 7-on-7. He's in the shotgun. There's no pass rush. Take that into consideration. Throws a fade ball to the tight end at the corner. Makes an excellent catch, and he put that ball in a spot for him to go make a play. Nice throw. I think it's more so of a better catch, though, in my opinion. The catch was definitely better than the throw. Here's another one. This time he was going to the other corner of the end zone. This looked like a pretty decent pass one I saw earlier. Fade ball, nice catch, nice play. That was definitely a better throw in my opinion than the previous one. This pass was a day ago on Tuesday, and Sheduer Sanders going deep downfield had a man open. Pretty nice throw. It's hard to tell with this angle, but he got it to his guy for a pretty nice gain. And I couldn't find too much on Dillon Gabriel, but this is the one clip I could find of him at OTAs. Takes the snap under center, and then the ball gets batted. I did find other footage of Dillon Gabriel from rookie minicamp, but it was an interception on a slant, and it wasn't really that great of a play. But if you're a Browns fan, I think that was Mason Graham who batted it down. So that's a good thing. Your first round pick with the 5th overall selection is making a play. Is he number 94? We also got some Kenny Pickett highlights for those who are interested. This looks like 11-on-11 kind of simulated. And Kenny Pickett finds his man Jerry Jeudy on the dig route for a nice gain. That was a decent throw. Caught him in stride. Wasn't thrown behind him. Nice play. Beat the corner. And here's just some additional Sheduer Sanders highlights and clips. A little dump off to, I don't know exactly who that is, but check down to his guy in the flats, and then the Browns defense swarmed him up. Sheduer Sanders found a tight end on this play. 11-on-11. Dumps it off to the tight end for a solid gain, short yardage. So there's some pretty decent stuff in here from Sheduer Sanders. Also some pretty good catches from his weapons as well. We actually have stats from OTAs today from the Browns quarterback competition. Shout out to ESPN Cleveland who tracked down the numbers and stuff. Joe Flacco went 9 of 14 and threw 1 touchdown. Sheduer Sanders with the least amount of passes here. The only guy who didn't throw 10 passes or more. He was 7 of 9 with 3 touchdowns. Almost half of his passes that were completed were touchdowns. A third of all of his passes were touchdowns. Kenny Pickett with 9 of 16 with 0 touchdowns. And Dillon Gabriel 11 of 16, 2 touchdown passes and 1 interception. I know it's just OTAs, and I know that this stuff doesn't really matter until you put the pads on and you're going 11-on-11. But it's also important to note that these quarterbacks are going through the process and going through the reads, and are they hitting the right guys? How do they look? And Sheduer Sanders looks like to be one of the better ones, at least throughout this practice. Now this could either be a good or a bad thing, because Sheduer Sanders is with 4 string players. He's the 4th quarterback, meaning is it a good thing that he's getting production out of these 4th string, 4th team players? Or is he doing good because he's throwing against 4th string defenses and players on the defensive side who might not actually make the roster? Maybe it's both, maybe it's neither, who knows. According to head coach Kevin Sfansky, he said that Sheduer Sanders has been putting in work and he's been getting to the building earlier, and that it's really showing off that he's prepared and ready for anything. Kevin Stefanski, when asked about Sheduer Sanders, says he's in there early, he's getting his work done, he's working really, really hard. I like everything there is about Sheduer Sanders.
Sheduer is a great kid, and whether it's a following that he's earned, I mean, that's something that he's done a great job of interacting with fans. And but he is a great kid. You guys will get to know him more. He's working like crazy, just like all the guys. He's another young man. These rookies, you know, my office is downstairs. As they got to walk by my office as they come in. They come in early, and Sheduer, just like all those guys, he's in there early. He's getting his work done, so he's working really hard. I like everything there is about Sheduer.
Some really good positive feedback about Sheduer Sanders from a head coach who's won Coach of the Year twice, and a guy who's trying to find his next franchise quarterback. That's definitely a positive sign for the rookie. And we even got some feedback from his fellow competitor quarterback Joe Flacco, saying some positive things about him. And then he also said that he probably wasn't too far away from playing against his dad Deion Sanders, and now he's playing with Sheduer Sanders.
I don't know if it has an impact on much, but Sheduer's been great. I mean, he's a lot of fun to be around in those meeting rooms, and I think so far there's been, you know, at least once in the meeting room that he's made me crack a smile, and that's what it's all about. You know, he's a young guy trying to learn some football and come out here and practice well and do those things. And like I said, he's been a lot of fun. I mean, he's come up to me and, listen, I probably wasn't too far away from playing against his dad, and now I'm playing with him. So
someone in the comments under this post put it perfectly. Sheduer Sanders getting along with Joe Flacco is a good sign, because Joe Flacco to Sheduer Sanders is an asset. He's a veteran. He's not going to be there long term, and he needs to pick his brain. He's a guy who's won a Super Bowl. Get as much information from him as possible. Be a sponge and absorb as much information as you can from a guy like Joe Flacco, who's been around the NFL for quite some time. Sheduer Sanders a few weeks ago signed his rookie contract, which is a 40-year deal worth $4.6 million as a 5th-round pick. And now he's going to be competing for the starting job in Cleveland. He's off to a good start so far at OTAs. Joe Flacco, in my opinion, or Kenny Pickett should be starting week 1. But if things aren't going well by like week 6, I think Sheduer Sanders should possibly be getting an opportunity, maybe even Dylan Gabriel, but they have to continue to keep improving in these offseason programs and practices. But for right now, I think Sheduer Sanders is off to a good start, showing what he could do at rookie minicamp and now OTAs, putting together quite a bit of production. That's what I got for today's video. I appreciate you for tuning in. Make sure you're subscribed and let me know down in the comments what you make of Sheduer Sanders and how he's been looking at OTA so far. My name's Cash, and I'll catch you next time. Have a good one. Peace.